Hello, everybody, and welcome to Twisted Mithril. My name is Zep, and we are Torpid Gaming. Joining me live here in the studio is Delin playing Navara, Nestor playing Oramor Fireforge, not to be confused with something else. Zach in the flesh playing Lucky of the Light, Stephanie playing Eleanor Herringbone, and Bishop playing Rowan Alderfall. And we got a great show lined up for you. I know that it's been a month and how long since we've been on the air? But we're going to have a really cool announcement about that later. But before we do that, I'm going to turn over some clerical duties to the cleric.
Oh, what a horrible line. No, I'm just the one person not afraid to sell it to everybody that's watching. You know what we're going to talk to you about. It's just about connecting your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon Prime account. If you are unaware, you are able to do that, and it grants you a free subscription, which provides a limited ad viewing experience and also supports your favorite streamer, which hopefully, if you're here, is us. It might not be, but that's okay. Support us anyway. So anyway, what that gets you is, like I said, a limited ad viewing experience, an additional emotes that we created as a team, loyalty badges that you get aside your name at 3 months, 6 months, and a year, which you can see when I type. I will type at some point there because I have it. And it's just something that directly supports us. If you can't tell, we've been able to enhance our stream a little bit better every month that we produce these episodes. And that's due to your guys' support. So anything you can do to support us is awesome. If you need more info to link your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account, which is free to you besides the price of your Amazon Prime subscription, we'll provide that link in the chat. And then as an extra note, you have to re-up that subscription every month. So if you have if you are interested in subscribing to us again, check up here, I think. Is that right? Yeah, it's up this way over here for the subscribe button, and see if you have a free subscription available. With that said, we're also going to be taking a celebratory shot, which is something we do here as a shout out for our new subscribers. And our newest subscriber is none other than a gentleman known as, I close the window, here it is, as DJ Do 54. So here's a shout out in celebration of DJ Do. Thank you for the subscription. That support means the world.
DJ
Do.
Oh.
So, I don't think it's that bad. So we do three things here at Torpid Gaming. We have fun, we get immersed, and we do epic shit. And, normally what we've been doing is we've been doing our D&D streams, once every while. But we're super excited to announce that starting next week, because we're all going to be doing turkeys for the rest of this week, we are going to be coming at you on a weekly basis on not only just Tuesdays, but we're going to be going on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Did I get that right?
Yes, you nailed it.
And so not only are we're going to be doing our tabletop games every single Tuesday, but we're going to be going with a lot of other gaming content, pop culture content for the rest of the week. And we hope that you guys enjoy it. And so without further ado, we are going to go right into our previously on, because let's be honest, none of us remember what we did a month and a half ago. So how can we expect anybody else? Let's learn together. You get a splitting headache, and you take 3 damage as you recognize this room as the entryway of the School of Magic that you attended as a young boy. You recognize the area around you as the fighting pits of Kushkanak, the pits that melded you into the man you are today. You remember when the combat bells rang. Your father, Beldor, said nothing. He just threw a warhammer at you. Grabbed the sword off the cooling rack. You both had just finished and walked away quickly out the door with nothing but a "see you on the wall, boy." You remember countless times after you trapped some prey and you went to go take it, a dire wolf sneaking in right after you successfully hunted and tracked this thing. You were young. You were helpless. The wolf took you. Will you let the wolf steal from you again? You remember every single one of these doors. The door to the parlor, where they screamed at you for doing things you didn't do. The door to the classroom, where Professor Eckhart awarded full marks to Deacon after he beat you up in the halls and stole your assignment. The door to your dormitory that you felt helpless coming back to every night. Realistically, Captain, what are our options here if we want to go back to the Anorak Desert before we go back to Neverwinter? And he kind of looks at her and says, Florence and everybody, so what happens is that we actually have to pass through Neverwinter to go to the Anorak Desert. You know, I heard through the Stones of Far Speech that Twisted Mithril was the next target for the Legion. And I haven't been there because there's no way that I can be the only person there when and if the Legion shows up. I don't fight, man.
We go rogue.
That's what I'm. So you're agreeing with my plan that we should go to Twisted Mithril and take the Dynatome, keep all the pieces with us,
and then go for the halberd and deal with
we're saying the same. We're saying the same thing.
I am now saying what you were saying because I was saying I'm changing my play on this.
I have one healing potion, and I will hook it up for you. But what I will need in return is that I'm gonna need a favor from you at a later date. And he smashes that up button. And as the camera zooms out, Twisted Mithril, the business, is in a city block, and with a roar, the entire building is lifted off the ground by a huge balloon that is now under it, supporting its weight. And Giles, he just looks at you and smiles and says, next stop, the Anorak Desert. All right, and we're back. And so for some people who may have been just joining us and don't quite know exactly what all that means, we'll give you the TLDR version. The group of heroes who are working for Twisted Mithril, you can see their names and characters down below their smiling faces. They have been tasked with getting 3 artifacts, and they already have 2, I believe. They have the amulet and the Dynamo Tome. And they are currently being tasked to go get the 3rd one, which is resting down in the keep in the Obsidian Brotherhood stronghold in Obsidian Bay. And without further ado, I think we're going to get into it. And I'd like to start with an excerpt from the Journal of an Unknown Laborer. They never let me near the crystal. The closest I can get to it during my shift is when we're hammering the ducting and I can feel its pull. It wants to show me so much, but the overseers know that if it shows us the light, it won't have any power. I've dedicated my entire life to this project, and I just feel like I'm going in circles. Every day seems the same. If I could only break this monotonous cycle day in, day out, and I feel like I've lived this moment over and over for years. But today's the day that I break the cycle. Today, I reach out and take what that crystal is so desperately trying to show me. And we are back on Twisted Mithril. You guys have just lifted up out of the ground after activating Twisted Mithril's defense system.
Raise the roof.
You have literally raised the roof. And there, in its wake, it has left a pretty big path of destruction because it's literally a building that has ripped itself out of the ground. So there's a giant hole in downtown Neverwinter, which people may not be happy about. The building itself is a 2-story stone building. It's relatively square and unassuming, and now it is sitting on a giant white balloon. That the balloon is underneath. It's not a hot air balloon. It is on top of the balloon. And there's obviously, you guys don't even need to roll anything for this. There's no way magic is not involved in this.
Perception check anyway.
I'd like to cast Detect Magic again.
And so you guys are all in the control room with Giles, and he has just smashed that up button, as we just heard. And he kind of looks up and says, "Oh man, that's pretty crazy, huh? I guess so."
When were you going to tell us about this?
Well, dude, I mean, we couldn't do it till you guys hooked up the power. You know what I mean?
Could have told us something. Yeah, you couldn't tell this was going to happen.
A little warning about what the power was powering would have been appreciated.
Oh, I didn't know how much power we were going to have after you hooked it up.
Again, still doesn't explain why you didn't tell us this was.
The group is overly unimpressed with your explanation.
I thought we might have just had enough power to force out the Legion. All right, but you guys did awesome. It's fucking rad.
Do we get a bonus?
I'm with her. Bonus?
Yes. But we'll get a bonus after I have my materials. If you remember, I'm pretty tapped right now. But it looks like we ain't coming back to Neverwinter anytime soon. I know you have some questions. And before you even ask, I can see, or more, that you have some questions. And before you even ask, here are some answers. Yes, we can fly. No, it can't teleport. And yes, the engine room was really big. There is a little bit of interplanar action going on here, which is why that can exist and power us, not be here. And no, I don't really know how it works.
Do you know how to fly it?
Is it flying?
Where do you know how to
Can you steer it?
Yes.
Can you?
I can steer it. Look, and he brings you back over to there's also there's a big map in this control room here, and there is a rock that is on Neverwinter, and he says, "This rock is us, and this is how I can steer the ship. I can plot courses with it using this system." With a rock. This is how it's not just any rock, and he turns it really fast, and he just knocks Lucky off, and you fall down.
Fuck, you're saving.
Yeah, and so as he's like, yes, we can steer it. I can steer it. But it's not. I don't really know how it works. That's really a question for Reeve. If we can ever fucking find him. He was supposed to be here and he never showed up. That's why we're in this mess. And so now I will take your questions.
How long until we get to the Anarok Desert?
I'd say, barring any unforeseen circumstances, we probably have about 36 hours or so.
How about with unforeseen circumstances? Those seem to follow us quite regularly.
Unforeseen. PTA then.
When was the last time you talked to Reeve?
Last time that I talked to Reeve was actually let's see here. Give me a. Are you just trying to intimidate him somehow, or are you just asking him a question, trying to?
He doesn't intimidate him. I will.
I'm asking a series of questions to lead the conversation to hopefully somewhere meaningful.
Okay, roll me persuasion.
What's the
persuasion?
Literally.
It's a solid tenor.
Okay.
10?
He says
No, 8 plus 2. 2 I have 2 persuasion. No, you don't. I am only 2 persuasive.
I am negative 1.
Yeah. So he looks up to you and says, "The last time I talked to Reeve, and I didn't even. This is weeks ago. The last time I saw Reeve was about 4 or 5 days ago, and he wasn't even talking to me. He was grumbling to himself, and he said, I need to make this right. I need to make this right,' and just walked out without a word."
Real promising sounding. Encouraging.
Do you know what awaits us at the Anarok Desert?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because we did just hear back from Florence, who went ahead and met her contact over in Obsidian Bay in the Anoric Desert, and they have located the Stormbrought Halberd, and that's the last artifact that we need to recover to complete the Corpus Constellation back for the city of Neverwinter. And once we get that, then you guys will be in the money, baby.
Forgive us for not celebrating prematurely.
Oh. Can I, though?
Yes.
All right, cool.
He does that all the time. Don't worry about it.
Wizards
Rowan
learned to
is
dance in the
easily-
70s.
You may now
Easily.
move on.
And there is a window in about 40 hours that Florence has told us that we can move in and have an opportunity to take this.
So if we got 36 hours till we get there, we can't really have any unforeseen circumstances pop up.
What kind of opposition are we looking at?
All right, well, tomorrow night is the Festival of the Founding over in Obsidian Bay, which is the capital city of the Obsidian Brotherhood over in the Anoric Desert. And this is where, their top brass, the Solemn Council, they come out once every 5 years and mingle with the masses. They're generally secluded. We don't really know why they're generally secluded, but they only come out once every 5 years. It's a great fanfare. It's a great celebration of the founding of the Obsidian Brotherhood and whatever. I don't know. I don't really know too much about them, but I do know that this happens. They're going to come out to fanfare, and the halberd is somewhere down in the lower levels. And since the council will be upstairs at this really huge, fancy celebration with other dignitaries from across the land who want to do business
Giles,
with the Brotherhood, yes.
are you suggesting that we steal the halberd during the celebration?
I'm suggesting that the halberd is, maybe somebody else steals it. Why does it have to be us?
Nobody else wants to get in on this?
No,
Good idea? Bad idea? Anybody?
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Go on, Giles.
Everyone's
Strangely
gonna be
comfortable with it.
And the halberd, so there's these dudes come out of seclusion once every 5 years, and there's a big fancy celebration. Dignitaries from across the land. It's the only opportunity for them to do business with the Obsidian Brotherhood.
So they're going to be distracted.
The halberd is somewhere downstairs. This is what Florence and her contact have told us. They don't know exactly where it is, but the
Downstairs, as in like ground floor, or downstairs, as in like basement dungeon level.
Dungeon.
council-
It's always a dungeon.
It's always-
It's kind of the first word of the.
So is there a dragon down there?
We haven't encountered a dragon yet. We are due for a dragon.
That we know of.
And so there will be a giant
What does
festival.
that mean? What is that we know of?
Just saying. Maybe you didn't know it was a dragon at the time.
But it's. Okay, I'll just let that one go.
Anywho, continue, please.
And so with the council upstairs, they only come out once every 5 years. Security will be lax downstairs in the vault.
Yeah, but
So-
what about access to the vault? That's going to be tightened. We have to have a way to get in there. Once we're in there, we can move around. We have to be able to get in there.
Are you saying
I
we
think that
pose
you guys
as-
you guys underestimate me.
I think God's got a
So
plan
you
here.
have a
Let him-
plan.
Unless he can land the balloon in the middle of it.
What's
What's your plan, Gals?